I do see some people are asking, is this going to be recorded? Yes, it will be recorded, and we will make it available afterwards so that you can have and download it if you like. Okay, so I think that is enough time. If someone joins a little bit later, it's still fine. Okay, so good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is doing good on this Friday morning. I'm Claudius, head of technical at Accentronix. Thank you for joining us today for this Accentronix product introduction. A few things before we start. Because of the nature of this meeting and the amount of people in this meeting, all mics are muted and they will stay throughout the session. If during the session you have any questions, please type it in the chat box. We have someone on standby that can answer those questions. In that way, more people, if someone asks a question, they will answer it, more people can see it, and hopefully they will learn something from it. Okay, today we are going to cover all our products. And then we'll also have a live demo where we will register a new device as well as go over all the programming on the portal. So if everyone's ready, we can start. Okay, can you guys just let me know in chat, can everyone see the presentation itself? Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's get started. Today, we are going to talk about the Accentronix access control system for security estates that we develop and manufacture ourselves in South Africa. We, Accentronix, has been in this business for 17 years, and we currently have more than 500,000 people using our system for access control at security estates. Okay, we're going to start by going over some features of our system. Our system is installed directly in a gate motor at a security estate. You can control our system with your mobile phone by giving it a missed call or using the Accentronix Smart Home app. With the system, you can manage users, remotes, and tags from the cloud. It has visitor one-time PIN functionality. You can bulk learn remotes, tags on the system. It's very easy to use. And with all of our systems, you have advanced access control logs. Okay, so the first few products, the Cell Switch Infinity and the Cell Switch Nano. The Cell Switch Infinity and the Cell Switch Nano gets installed directly into your gate motor. The Cell Switch Infinity allows you to manage up to 10,000 users, remotes, and tags. The Cell Switch Nano, you can load 10 users, remotes, and tags. Both of these units has the visitor one-time PIN functionality. And with both of them, you control them by giving it a missed call or using the Accentronix Smart Home app. Okay, a few technical things about these units. The Cell Switch Infinity has dual SIM cards. The Cell Switch Nano has a single SIM card. The Cell Switch Infinity has 2 outputs and 4 inputs. The Cell Switch Nano has 2 outputs and 2 inputs. The Cell Switch Infinity has an external antenna, and the Cell Switch Nano has a built-in integrated antenna. Both these units can use our tag reader interface, and then you can also connect your remotes through the ET Accentronix receiver. Now, if this is too much information too fast, don't worry, we are going to cover everything in this session. Okay, both these units run with 12 to 24 volt DC, and they get connected directly to your gate motor or to the battery. Okay, moving on to the wireless intercom range. Our intercom range works exactly like our Cell Switch Infinity, but there's one major difference, and that's the voice itself. The intercom calls directly to your cell phone, and then you as the tenant can then open the gate from your cell phone. You can also manage up to 10,000 users, remotes, and tags with the intercom system. And it has a dual SIM card with 2 inputs and 3 outputs. And it also runs on 12 volt DC. All of the intercom systems do have an external antenna, and they all have the one-time PIN functionality. Now, with our system, what you can actually do is you can use that one-time PIN directly on the keypad of the intercom. So there's no need to install an external keypad. You can directly use that PIN on the intercom itself. There are currently 4 models. It's the Intercom Complex, the Intercom 2-button, the Intercom Mini, and the Intercom Index. All our models are built from marine grade stainless steel, and that's to withstand the harsh conditions, to say like we experience here in Cape Town next to the sea. Our Intercom Mini, our Intercom Complex, and Intercom Index is exactly the same when it comes to functionality, and it's only the physical size that differs. Our Intercom 2-button can only call 2 numbers, but with that system, you can still manage 10,000 users for access control. Okay. Just a wiring diagram to show you how easy it is to connect one of our devices to a gate motor. So you've basically got your 12 volt, 0 volt, and then your trigger. On the left-hand side, you'll see it's also very easy to connect one of the ET receivers to it. So it's just basically the data that goes into the cell switch or the nano. Okay, if you add on products with our with our system. So all the following products connects directly to our cell switches and our intercoms, and it provides the following functionality. This ET receiver is specially manufactured for Accentronix, and that allows you to connect your remotes directly to any one of our systems. The wireless keypad allows the use of the one-time PIN functionality, and this connects through the ET receiver to the devices. Okay, so with our cell switches, you can connect the ET receiver to control your remotes directly, but all our intercoms has an already built-in receiver, so there's no need to connect an external one. All the intercom systems already come with a built-in Accentronix receiver. Okay, so like I said, the wireless keypad connects through that receiver to your cell switch Infinity or your intercom systems. So you can use the one-time PIN functionality with both of them. Okay, so we've then got the wired keypad. Does exactly the same as the wireless, enables the use of the one-time PIN functionality. Main difference is the wired keypad has a backlight, so it's perfect for dark places. And it also has a maximum range of 100 meters. Okay, then we've got the MyFair tag system. So the tag system itself works with 13.56 megahertz. And it works exactly the same as the remotes on our system, where you can learn the tags directly to the system. With our remotes as well as our tags, you'll have restricted access, which means that you can restrict remotes to certain days and certain times. And we will also cover that when we show the online programming on the portal. Okay, with our system, you can easily pre-register remote from offsite. We'll also show that in the live demo. And then you can later assign those remotes to specific users. With our remotes, you can also restrict access to specific days and times for specific users. This is a perfect example, is a domestic or gardening service. They will only have access certain times of the day of the week and certain times of the day. If someone loses a remote, it's also very easy to just log onto the system and then remove that remote from that person's name. All remotes that get used also have a detailed log report, and you also have access control notifications that you can enable. So if someone uses a remote, it will actually let you know that person has just used their remote. Like I said, to use the remotes on the system, just simply connect a micro receiver to our cell switch Nano or cell switch Infinity, and our intercom system already has a built-in receiver. Okay, with our tag system, you can link multiple devices over the cloud, and then all those tags work with each other. The remotes and the tags work on the same principle, where a tag is assigned to a user, and you can also restrict tags to specific readers or specific times of the week and day. Okay, you can also, with the tag system, like with the remotes, pre-register a bunch of tags off-site, and then just later assign that specific tag to a specific user. Okay, just a bit more about our visitor one-time PIN. With the one-time PIN functionality, residents can use the Accentronix Smart Home app to invite visitors. The visitor will receive a WhatsApp or SMS containing a one-time PIN, as well as a Google Map link and instructions on how to use that PIN. As soon as the visitor uses the PIN, the resident will receive a notification, and visitors can be restricted to one entry and one exit, or they can have the whole day access. Our intercom systems, we have the visitor exit one-time PIN feature. OTP will automatically be sent to a resident after they receive a call from the intercom, and the visitor will then use this PIN to exit the property. Once that PIN has been used, the resident will also receive a notification saying that that PIN has been used. Okay, so that's just a little bit more about the visitor one-time PIN. We'll also demonstrate that later in the demo. Okay, just an example of your typical security estate. So at your entrance, you have an intercom system. At your exit gate, you have a cell switch Infinity connected with the RX micro receiver. Then at your pedestrian gate, you have a Nano connected to 2 tag readers. And at your swimming pool, you have a Nano connected with a tag reader, but with restricted access only from 9 AM till 8 PM. Okay, so residents of that security estate can use the remote on the intercom, or they can use it on the cell switch at the exit gate. At the exit gate, you also have a visitor exit one-time PIN wireless keypad. All residents can also use the app to gain access. And then at the pedestrian, you can tag in and out, as well as use that same tag for the swimming pool between 9 AM and 8 PM. And like you guys can see, is all these devices are linked over the cloud, which means if you add a user on your master device, say your intercom is your master device, that users will have access to all other devices linked to it. And they don't have to be connected with the wire, it's all wirelessly done over the cloud. So even if your entrance and exit gate is 5 kilometers apart, it can be done, it can be linked over the cloud, and all users will have access to both those devices. Okay, just an example of the Accentronix Smart Home app. As soon as a user is added to the system, they will receive a free welcome SMS that contains instructions on how to use the system, as well as a link on where to install the Accentronix Smart Home app. Buttons for that specific device will automatically appear on the app, and the app is also used to invite visitors and receive notifications. Okay, so this is just an example of what it will look like if you use the app to send a visitor one-time PIN. So on the left, you will see you can enter their name and their cell phone number. And then you can choose, is that PIN valid for the whole day, or is it limited to one entry and one exit only? You can also select from your contacts if that person's number is saved on your cell phone. And then in the middle, you will see what it will actually look like when that PIN is sent to a person over WhatsApp. So you'll see it says, dear visitor, use access code when you visit this at unit, as well as the address of the place, and then directions, a Google Map link onto where to find the estate. And as soon as your visitor has used the OTP, you will receive a notification on the right. So your visitor exit OTPs would expires on this date. And as soon as someone uses it, it will actually send you a notification saying that PIN has been used and your visitor has exited the property. Okay, so moving on, we're now going to have a live demo. So as you guys can see, just want to open the app. Currently, the app is open, but there's no buttons for us to press. Now, we have installed a cell switch Infinity, and with that cell switch Infinity is connected to an RX micro receiver as well. So to register this device, we can simply go to Google, type in Accentronix. The first option will be our website. And you will see portal login. Okay, you will enter your details and then sign into your profile. Okay, in the case, you will see that we currently have an intercom system installed. And then there's this tag reader also. Underneath the tag reader is our Nano install that's connected to that specific tag reader. Now, both these devices are already registered on this profile. So you'll see there's the demo intercom as well as tag reader Nano. Okay, for this new cell switch that we now want to register, we can just simply go to register device. And then we will enter the number. So each device is supplied with 2 SIM cards already recode. And then basically on the screen, we can give our device a name. And then we can enter the first SIM card. So there's 2 SIM cards, SIM 1, usually a Vodacom one. We can just enter that number and click on next step. So now it will only connect with that device, and after a few seconds, it will ask you, what do you want to use that device for? So by default, you'll see it's selected as access control. But I'm just going to walk you through all the options. So you'll see if you go to home automation, you can use the cell switches for alarm monitoring, for a standalone alarm. You can use it for an irrigation system. You can connect it to a RoboGuard. And then the next option is electric fence. So you'll see all your popular brands are here, and all our devices can connect to these electric fences, and it will give you, actually, you can turn them on and off. And you can also receive notifications through the app for your electric fence. Okay, then we've got advanced automation, remote pump control. You can pump water level, you can have temperature monitoring, level monitoring. So all these kind of things are available with the Cell Switch Infinity. Okay, for this demo, however, we're only going to use access control. And here you can see it will ask us mobile phone only. Do we want to enable the remotes? Do we want to enable the tag reader? So for this specific demo, we have a receiver attached, so we're going to enable the remotes. Don't worry if you later want to attach a receiver, you can always change the settings on the portal itself. Okay, so now we're going to go next step. And that's it, the device is now registered. From here, we can just click on manage your new device. And that's it, it will take you straight away to your access control list. Okay, for this demo, however, we are going to move to device list, and we're going to do our programming on the demo intercom. You'll see it looks exactly the same, and it's exactly the same principle. So for this demo, we're going to enter a number. So the name of the resident, as well as their cell phone number. We can also add a secondary number. The way this works is if someone stops at the intercom, they press 1 to call this number, but that number goes to voicemail, it will automatically call the secondary number. Okay, the secondary number can, however, also be inserted as a primary number. Okay, for this demo, we're just going to move on. House numbers just for you, say, as a managing agent or installer to keep a reference of who lives where. So say this person lives in apartment 5, and we want to assign them the button 1. This just basically means if someone presses button 1 at the intercom, it will call that cell phone number. Okay, now from here, we can also basically tick alerts. So if we want this person, say this is a trustee at a complex, we want them to receive all alerts from that device, we can tick alerts. For this demo, we're just going to leave it out. Okay, now we can just simply click on add, and you'll see user added successfully. As soon as that number is loaded on the system, the user will now receive the welcome message just stating your number has been loaded on the system, and as well as an instructions link on how the system works for them. Okay, for this specific resident but that we just loaded, we also want to learn a remote. So we can simply click on the remote icon next to their name. And then we can just click on quick learn remote. It will connect to that specific device, and after a few seconds, it will ask you to press the button of the remote 3 times. And it will tell you remote with serial number has been learned on the system. So whenever this remote gets used, you'll see on the log that that's the resident that used it, and this is when they used it. Yeah, so that's how easy it is to learn a remote on the system. Say someone loses their remote, you can also from anywhere log onto the system, click on the remote icon, click on the bin, and then remove that remote from their name. Okay, very easy. If someone loses it, if it got stolen, very easy to basically take off the system. Now, a lot of people ask us, how do they bulk learn remote and how do they learn a remote off-site? So currently you'll see on the left, we're under access control and then users. we can simply go to remote tags and keypads. And then you'll see the first option under remotes is manage pre-registered remotes. Now, pre-registered remote is a remote that's learned on the system, but it hasn't been assigned to anyone, so it will still not work. Okay, so if we go to manage pre-registered remote, it works exactly the same. We can click on learn. It will give you 20 seconds to press the button 3 times. And that remote will now be on the system. Okay, like I said, that remote will still not work, but it is already learned on the system. So if you go back to users, and you want to assign that specific remote that you bulk learned, you can simply go to the remote icon. You'll see on top here, link a pre-registered remote. The remote will appear, and you can just simply click on link. Now that pre-registered remote is connected and assigned to that specific person, and when they use it, it will work, as well as on the log, it will show their name. Okay. Okay, going back to remote tags and keypads. If say a complex contacts and they tell you that they want 50 ET remotes, but you're not on site, what you can do is you can install another device, say at your office, and then you've got the intercom inside. But because both of those devices are on your profile, you will be able to use the device at the office as a gateway. So to give you an example of this, we just installed a cell switch Infinity with a receiver. So let's say that's the device that's at the office. That's the one you want to learn the remote through, but you want to learn that remote on the intercom itself. All you can do is you can either go directly to the person's name, and you'll see on the screen, it will ask you gateway. So the gateway is the device that will basically listen to the remote to learn it. But because we are currently on demo intercom, that's the device that will actually learn the remote on. So we can just simply say, yeah, the gateway should be cell switch demo, and your intercom is, say, for example, 20 kilometers away on site. But because the cell switch Infinity is close to us, we can just simply say quick learn remote. It will now connect to that specific cell switch, and then it will ask you to press the button 3 times, and it will learn that remote to the actual intercom system and not to the cell switch. So that's how you can learn and bulk learn remotes off site. Okay, so that's basically with the remote itself. I just want to quickly learn this one back on again. Press the button 3 times, and the remote has now been learned. Okay, so with our tag system, it works exactly the same way. I'm going to show you, we have the Nano installed. So I'm going to show you exactly how it works with the Nanos, but exactly the same principle. You can also bulk learn tags as well as learn tags off-site. If you've got another cell switch at your office with a tag reader connected, you can also use the gateway as the one at the office and then learn it to the one off-site. Okay, after adding or changing any settings on one of our devices, it's very important to click on Save Settings and then to actually update that device. So updating the device will send all the new information, all the settings you have changed to our cloud, and that new device will take the properties or settings that you have sent it into consideration. So let's update now. It takes a few minutes. It will just connect to that device, and then it will send the new information to the cloud. Okay, so moving on to the cell switch Nano connected with the tag reader. Just a quick demonstration. You'll see that I've already linked this user to the access control list. And now if we want to learn a tag, we can just click on the tag icon. And we'll see that the gateway is currently set to that specific nano with the tag reader. Okay, at the back of your tag, there is a serial number. And if we click on Quick Learn Tag, it will give us 20 seconds to basically scan that tag. And it will tell you that tag with that specific serial number is now learned on the system. Okay, so exactly the same as with the remotes. If someone loses a tag, very easy to just log on from anywhere, go to that specific user and remove that tag. To bulk learn tags work exactly the same as the remotes. We go to remote tags and keypads. And now we simply go to tags on top. And then here we can just learn a tag to pre-register. Say we've got bulk learn 100 tags. We can learn them on the system. Later, when we get to site, we can then just allocate that specific serial number to a specific person. Go to link a pre-registered tag and then just link that tag to the person itself. Okay. So going back to the demo device, you'll see that we have added the cell phone number of this demo phone to the access controllers of the intercom. And you'll see that the actual intercom has popped up with its button. So this is exactly what your resident will see. They will open the app once their number is loaded, and then they will just magically see the button appear. When they press that button, hold it for a few seconds, and you'll see that the gate will actually open. Okay. Moving back to the actual portal. I'm going to go back to the intercom system. Okay, so now we've added a user under the normal access control. Say we want to restrict a user to only gain access certain times of the week. We can go next to access control users on top. You'll see restricted users. Okay, so here we can do exactly the same. We can just type in a name of the person as well as their cell phone number. House number just for you to keep a reference. And then you'll see that you can actually set the times here. So this specific person will have access from 7 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon, and they will only have access on Wednesdays. So you can restrict them. And what's also cool from the system, you can actually restrict them to a certain output. So say you've got an intercom system with 3 outputs. Output 1 is connected to your main gate. Output 2 is connected to, say, a pedestrian gate. And output 3 is connected to a sliding door somewhere else. So say you want the specific person to only have access to a pedestrian gate, so you don't want them to open the gate fully, you can say only pedestrian. So they will only be able to trigger a certain output. So this can also then be done with remotes. And it can also be done with tags. So when you have a tag or a remote link to that user, that remote or tag will only work for the time set. Okay, moving on the portal, next to restricted users, you'll see manage welcome SMS. So like I said earlier, when someone is loaded on the system, they will receive a welcome SMS. And this is where you can actually edit that welcome SMS. So by default, you'll see that it says welcome message. Call this number. It will automatically enter that number for you there to open the gate. Then it will also have the instructions link. And you'll see that characters left at the bottom here. So when you do edit this message, keep in mind that the normal SMS can only take, I think it's 150 characters. So when you type someone, just be aware that you have a certain amount of characters, but this can be edited. And you'll see on the left or on the right here that this is the actual message that they will receive. Okay, then you'll see next to welcome SMS is communication SMS. So with our system, what you can also do is you can send a communication SMS. So you'll see that there's an example already set here. So you can type in, say, swimming pool out of order this Saturday. And this message will then be sent to everyone on the access controller, informing them swimming pool out of order this Saturday. So this can be done. This, however, does use SMS credits, like you'll see on top here, 93 credits left. Please be aware that your free SMSs are for notifications only. So if a device is connected, say, to an energizer and someone, it gets triggered, the notification sent will use your free SMSs, but your messages sent from here will not use your free SMSs. SMS credits can be bought here through PayFast, and it's basically 23 cents per SMS. Okay, so with our system, like we said earlier, is you can link multiple devices to a master device. So say you've got a complex, we've had the, we saw it earlier where there was one master intercom and a lot of other devices connected to it. This is where you can actually set it if you go to linked devices. Okay, so currently this intercom is set as a master device, but you do have the option to turn security off. So any number that will call the system will actually open the gate. So say you're busy installing it, the people still need to get in and out, but you are busy making changes, you can turn security off if need be. Okay, then you can set it as a slave device. The way this works is, say I connect a cell switch infinity to the intercom. The intercom is the master, the cell switch infinity is the slave. The cell switch infinity will share the access controllers of the master device. So any number that I put in under access control will also work on the cell switch infinity. Okay, moving on. Underneath users, we've got remotes, tags, and keypads, and we already saw what remotes means, and we already saw what tags do. Going to keypads. So anything related to OTPs or pins, all the settings are under keypads. So you'll see this is also where you can manage your wireless keypads. Because they work through the Accentronix receiver, this is where you will learn them exactly the same way as that you will learn a remote. So when you click on Learn Keypad, it will give you 20 seconds to press 0 5 times on a keypad, and that keypad will then be learned on the system. Okay, the first option you'll see is Enable Global Access Code. So this is exactly what it says, a global code anyone can use. So currently this one is set to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we go here, we can do it directly on the intercom. We'll see that the gate will open. This can also be done from the keypads. That's not connected. But anyway, you can do it from the keypads as well as directly on the intercom. Okay, then you'll see the next option is Enable Reverse Access Code. So the way this works is every tenant or user added on the access control list can use the last 4 digits of their cell phone number in reverse to open a gate. So you will then basically say star, the one currently loaded is star 3545, and that will also then open the gate. Okay, the next one is allow residents to invite visitors by sending them an OTP with the Accentronix Smart Home app. So when you don't want your tenants to send OTPs, you only want the intercom and where they can actually phone or use the app, you can disable this as well. So no one will be able to send a one-time PIN. Then because this is an intercom system, you'll see the last option is send an exit one-time PIN after each intercom call. So this is what we said earlier. If someone gets to the intercom, they press 1, it phones through to your cell phone. You press 1 to open output 1. It will automatically send a one-time exit pin to your cell phone, which you give to your delivery guy, you give to your visitor. On their way out, they use that pin, and it will then send you a notification saying that they have used that pin. Okay. Underneath remote tags and keypads, you'll see gate timers. So a lot of people do get confused on the gate timers because there's a morning timer as well as afternoon timer. This has a very specific use, and I'll give you an example of it. So say you've got a school. From Monday till Friday, you want the gate to automatically open at 7 in the morning. And then again to close at 8:30 in the morning. Okay, when school gets out, say 2 o'clock, you want it to open till say 4 o'clock in the afternoon again. So that's why there's a morning timer as well as an afternoon timer. So you can have 2 different timers on the same day. If you say, however, only want one timer, there's no need to say you want it to open 7 in the morning, close at 4. You're not going to basically remove these. You can just simply do it in the morning timer. So from 7 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon, that gate will automatically open and then close again at 4. The system also allows you to load public holidays. So once you click on that, it will automatically pull all current public holidays. And on those specific days, the gate will not open automatically. You can also say something happens, your offices or school is going to be closed. You can manually select the days you don't want the gate to open automatically. Okay. So that's the access control tab. Now on the next, you'll see configuration. The first one is general setup. So under general setup, there's a few settings you can change. You'll see you can change the device name here. It will tell you when that device was registered, and the subscription will cover a bit later, as well as you can actually type the physical address of that device in the space here. You'll actually see it will ask you no location, use GPS location from the pin, or use a custom Google Maps link that you can enter. And you'll see on the map here that it will actually show you a green pin on where that device is located. So you guys will see we are located here in Cape Town. Okay, this is actually a very cool thing that you can do with, say, you've got multiple energizers connected to cell switches. You can center those pins around, and once the energizer gets triggered and that the cell switch goes into alarm mode, this pin will actually turn red. So what you can do is you can have, say, a guardhouse with a few guards in it, with lots of the maps open on the screen with lots of pins. As soon as one of the zones get triggered, they'll see exactly where that device is and that it has triggered. So that is possible with this system. Okay, so that's device info. Moving on to audio settings. Audio settings, self-explanatory, max call duration. So you can limit the amount of time that someone can call from an intercom. So I think by default, it's set to 55 seconds. You can set it to say 65 seconds. After 65 seconds, the intercom will automatically cut the call, just to prevent someone from getting to the intercom and sitting there for half an hour using all the airtime loaded on that intercom. Okay, then you can also set the speaker volume and the microphone volume. And then next to that, you'll see custom features. Now, with our intercom system, there's a few stuff that you can do. We've got the guardhouse feature. So by default, when a resident calls someone number of an intercom, it will open the gate. When you, however, enable guardhouse feature, when someone calls to the intercom, the actual intercom will ring like a cell phone. So the guard in the guardhouse can answer the intercom, and he can also make calls from the intercom. So that's also a feature you can enable. Okay, then you can enable the exit button on input 1. very straightforward, more for your installers. If you want an exit button, as soon as input 1 of the intercom gets triggered, output 1 will open. Then we've got the enable automatic PABX selection feature. So you're installing a intercom at an office park. If someone calls their office number, it says press 1 for technical, press 2 for sales, press 3 for admin. With this enabled, you can actually set it up where if someone presses 1 on the intercom, it will always automatically call option 2 for admin. Okay. With the intercom, you can also, when this is not enabled, if someone calls to that number, it will ask them over the intercom, press 1 for technical, 2 for sales. If you press the button on the intercom after the call has been made, it will actually make that selection as well. So it will tell, it will go to sales if you press 2. Okay, when your gate timers are active, like we said earlier, so the school gates open in the morning and someone on the access controllers calls to that device. This is a fail-safe, so it will actually close the gate then again. But under custom features, there is a ignore gate control commands while gate timers are active. Just to prevent this from happening, you can disable it. Okay, your next option will be notifications. Okay, so like we said earlier with your SMS credits, you can enable notifications to receive a notification when it drops below a set amount. Same with the email for that credits. And then we've got a few other options like enable access control notifications. So basically this means anytime someone gains access to the device, like for access control, anyone on the access controllers that is ticked for alerts will receive a notification saying this person has just opened that gate. So you've got a house with a family in. If this is ticked, you can always see grandma just left the house at 4 p.m. She gained access. Okay. Then we've got the option for, say you've got energizers and the people tell you they're not waking up for SMSs received from that energizer. There is the option to dial the reporting numbers on alerts. So as soon as the cell switch goes into alert, it will actually phone the numbers on the access control from top to bottom. And then you've got a notification to send an alert when battery voltage drops below set amount, so 10.5 voltage. System can take up to 24 volts. If it's connected to 24 volt, you can say, if it drops below 22 volts, send me a notification so that I can know there's something wrong. Okay, then we've got email report settings. Say you as a managing agent of a complex wants to receive daily, weekly or monthly reports about the system. This will contain all the logs that we'll cover shortly. That is an option. Then you can have 2 email addresses where it will be sent those reports. Okay, on the intercom system, send email when airtime is lower than SIM 190 Rand and SIM 230 Rand. So you'll see that currently the airtime amount on SIM 1 is 49 Rand, and we have removed the SIM 2, so old SIM card. But you'll see that SIM 1 is set to 90 Rand, it's below 90 Rand, so this is actually red. If I change that to 30 and then update, save settings and update the device, it will then be the normal color. Okay, so input and outputs. This is more for your installers. You can, with the system, change your input 1 high and input low messages that get sent. And then you'll have a trigger delay. So basically say that your gate status is connected to input 1 of the cell switch or intercom system. You can have a 30 seconds input delay, which means if the gate is open after 30 seconds and it doesn't close, it will send you gate still opened, where this can then be edited. When it returns to its low state again, it will send you gate still closed. Exactly the same thing with input 2. Okay, output options. Again, more for your installers, setting up the devices. you'll see the first option is when a missed call is received on SIM 1, output 1, will it switch on for 1 second? Or you can change it to toggle change state, meaning it will latch. So say you connect your cell switch Infinity to a mag lock, it shouldn't pulse for only 1 second. You can change it to say it will pulse for 5 seconds, giving them time to open the door. Okay, when a missed call is received on SIM card 2, you have the option to use it as a backup for SIM 1. So you can say control output 1, or you can use it for secondary use. So say your output 2 is connected to a pedestrian gate, you can say, okay, control output 2 when someone calls SIM card 2. Okay, then exactly the same as with output 1, when output 2 is controlled, do you want to latch, or for how many seconds do you want to pulse that output? And then it's an intercom system, so it has 3 outputs, exactly the same option with output 3. Now we do get the question a lot, there's only 2 SIM cards, how do you control output 2? Output 3? This is easy, you can control it by using an SMS or by using the Accentronix Smart Home app, setting up a button specifically for output 3, which we'll also now cover. Okay. If we go to the next option, Google Home, it's a very cool feature of our system. Say you've got a cell switch Infinity or a cell switch Nano connected to your garage door at home. You're around the corner, you can simply, it's set up with Google Home. So what you can do is you can tell your phone, hey Google, open garage door. Because your number's loaded on the system and it's set up with Google Home, it will recognize it and it will actually open your garage door for you. This can be done, however, with anything. So say you've got a cell switch connected with a geyser. The geyser has a timer on, so it will automatically go on between 5 and 9 at night. You can say, hey, Google, shut down the geyser, and it will put your geyser off for you. Okay, very cool feature. Now, app buttons, very important. You'll see that, just want to go back here. So the main gate button has automatically appeared on the app when we registered this cell phone number on the system. Under app buttons, you can however configure this. So you can change it around and use the commands as you wish. So to give you an example, you'll see that main gate's currently the button that's showing and it's not hidden. Now, if you look on the right-hand side, you'll see that there's output 1, output 2, and output 3. And you'll see forward, on command, off command, and pulse command. So very easy to understand that output 1, to pulse output 1, your command will be control. Same with output 2, to pulse output 2, it will be control 2. And then with output 3, it will be control 3. Exactly the same to latch that specific output. For output 1 will be open and then close to unlatch it. So taking this into consideration, if we move to the left-hand side, we'll see that the main gate button, the command for that button is control. So now we know that the control command means it will pulse output 1. Okay, so say we add a exit gate on output 2 of our intercom system. You can see it's already by default set up. We can just unhide that button and we'll see exit gate, command is control 2. And if we go back here, you will see control 2 means pulse output 2. Okay. If we save settings, update device, that will also then take effect on the app itself. Okay, so app buttons, very easy to set up. If you, however, want to add a whole complete new button, we can simply click on add button, give that button a name. And then what command do we want to link to that specific button? That will be control 2. And then add. Okay. So that's the app button. So guys, device logs. When you click on device logs, you'll see all your options. You'll see on top here, button summary log, button press log, access control log, device status log, IO log, and messaging log. So button press log on the specific intercom. We haven't pressed the button, but if we can change, you'll see here top this month. We can change it to last 365 days. And then we can actually see that there was a whole lot of tests on the specific device. So you can see here that the 10th of January 2022, just before 5, there was a 4-second call duration and gate open none, which means the call was made, but the gate was not open from the cell phone. And then we'll also give you information on who was called, what was their name, and what was the button that they pressed on the intercom itself. Now, all our logs have a 2-year retention, so you can go back 2 years to see exactly what happened. So say there was a incident, you can go back 2 years. Okay, then button summary log is just a summary of the total number of calls per access control member. So you'll see that this person with button 999 was called in the last 365 days a total of 10 times. So as a managing agent, just a way for you to keep track of who's getting the most calls in a complex. Then we've got access control log. So anytime someone gains access to a device, say using the app, using a remote, using a tag, basically anyway, this is where it will appear. So you'll see a lot of blanks here. That's just because we have deleted the users of the system. But so you'll see test is on unit 5, the mobile number of that unit, and how they gained access. So you'll see here that output 1 was triggered with the global keypad. 1 hash just means that that person used the app to gain access. And just the normal 1 means they phoned the gate or they used the remote. So for this example, they used the remote. You can see here remote reference, serial number, as well as button number pressed. Yeah, so that's your access control log. Device status logs just gives you some information about your device. You'll see that it's called demo intercom, SIM1 cell number, signal strength, SIM2 number, signal strength, current voltage on that device, as well as a few things for us for firmware versions for fault finding. Okay, then device IO log. This is more for your installer and it's more to do some troubleshooting. So everything that basically happens with that unit will be in your device IO logs. So every time it reboots, every time someone phones it, even when someone's number is not on the access control list and they phone that device, it will actually tell you they phoned that time and the call was rejected and that's the number that was phoned from. So any fault finding, anything that you want to do is on your device IO log. So you'll see, for an example, ET9's Accentronix receiver detected after a reboot. Okay, so that's just a rundown of all the logs. Okay, then with our system, you can have multiple admins. And you'll see that on the left here, share device. Say you as the installer has installed that device, but you want to carry it over to your client. This is where you will do this. So currently this profile, you'll see test account at Accentronix. And the current role of that account is the owner of that device. So the owner can add more admin users. And say we want to link someone, we can just enter the email address of their profile here. And then you'll see the second option is what role do you want to assign to that specific profile? So the options are full admin or access control management. Full admin can change any settings that we just went through. And access control management can only add and remove users from the access control list. So if you have someone that's going to manage your device for you, but you don't want them to change any other setting, you can just give them access control management and they can only load and remove users. Okay, so we've went through all the portal settings on the left here. That will be exactly the same when it comes to your intercom systems or your cell switch nanos and cell switch infinities. Then we've got you'll see on top here, global dashboard. So no matter what device you've selected, global dashboard will always be there. And it's just basically a summary of all the devices on your profile. So you'll see currently on this profile, we've got 3 online devices, 0 offline devices, and then total devices. Okay, you'll also see the pin location of all your devices on the map. And then at the bottom here, it will also show you your 3 devices as well as the status when it comes to the subscription. We'll cover the subscription in a few minutes. But what you can do is you can actually say the subscription has expired. You can pay it directly from this screen. Also, we'll show this in a minute. Okay, guys, so the annual subscription. All devices are provided with SIM cards already recoded. Very important to note is that all SIM cards provided has an activation date. A SIM card will be active for 1 year after this activation date. If the SIM card does not get registered on the portal within 1 year, it will expire. Okay, all subscriptions are free for the first year. So let's start with the actual subscriptions per unit. With the CellSwitch Infinity, the yearly subscription is $365, excluding VAT. And very important, we load the airtime for you on that unit. So I'm just going to repeat that with the CellSwitch Infinity. The yearly subscription is $365, excluding VAT, and we load the airtime for you on that unit. The CellSwitch Nano. With the CellSwitch Nano, because it has less than 10 users, the subscription is 99 Rand a year, but we also load the airtime for you on that device. If the CellSwitch Nano, however, is connected to an Energizer, the subscription will also be $365 a year, excluding VAT. Okay, so I'm just going to repeat that quickly. With the Nano, because it has less than 10 people, 99 Rand a year. If it is, however, connected to an Energizer, the subscription is also $365 a year. Okay, so with the Intercom Complex, Intercom Index, Intercom Mini, the subscription is $365, excluding VAT a year, but they will still need to load their own airtime for outgoing calls. So, Intercom Complex, Intercom Index, Intercom Mini subscription is $365, excluding VAT a year, and they will still need to load airtime for outgoing calls. With our Intercom 2 button, however, when it is used for residential purposes, so there's less than 10 people on the system, there's no subscription fee at all. They still just only need to load their airtime for outgoing calls. So Intercom 2 buttons, less than 10 people, no subscription fee, but they will still need to load their own airtime for outgoing calls. Okay, so we get it a lot. How do you load airtime on the system? Basically through a banking app or through Vodacom or MTN directly. So if you've got an Intercom system and you want to load airtime, you do it through your banking app, or you go to Vodacom directly and ask them to load airtime on that specific number for you. Okay, and like I said earlier, if your subscription has expired a month before the time, we will send you an invoice or a reminder just to tell you, okay, the subscription is about to expire, but it will also show on your global dashboard that device has expired. Just going to give you an example quickly. So global dashboard, you will see all your devices mentioned. You'll see that these 2 expiring soon and that the top one already expired. So you can select the 3 of them and click on Pay Now, and it will take you through Pay Fast. Okay, so that's the subscription for all the devices. Like we said earlier, our CellSwitch Infinity and our CellSwitch Nano can connect to the Energizers. And with it, you can actually send programming codes to the device with the app. You can disarm your Energizers. You can also get all your alerts and notifications through the app for that Energizer. And you can also ask the status, so the fence health, battery status of that specific energizer. Okay, so guys, that's basically the overview and the product introduction, the presentation itself of all our devices. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of questions. I'm just going to go through the chat. We're going to keep the chat open afterwards. So if you guys still have questions, we can unfortunately not unmute the mics because I think it's Friday and everyone's excited. And I think some people will be too excited. So we can't unmute the mics. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, you can actually give us a call on our office. You can send us a WhatsApp on our WhatsApp helpline. And then I see in chat already there is a link to our knowledge base. So all brochures and information about the products is already there. And if you guys ever get stuck with anything, registering a device, or you just need some help with setting something up, you can also give us a call. So guys, hopefully you all have learned something and you now have a better understanding of how the system works. And yeah, like I said, too many people in the meeting to unmute for questions, but please, in the chat, you can just ask your questions and we'll get back to you. We'll answer as many as we can. Thank you all for joining, and I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Okay, cheers, guys. Okay, guys, for you still here, I'm just reading through the chat quickly. I think it's going to be easier for me to just answer directly than typing. So I'm just seeing here, why do Intercom 2 buttons show on dashboard subscription expired if there's only 2 numbers loaded? That's definitely a fault, should it be? So what you can do is you can just contact our subscription department and they'll be more than happy to fix it for you. Because it shouldn't be. Okay, just reading up. If you have a battery backup on your system, it will be online. Okay. I see most questions already answered. If you guys have anything, please just type it in chat. I'll have a look and I can answer your questions. Also, what we are going to do in the future, we plan on maybe having a training session each Friday and then discussing different topics, different programmings, more advanced stuff. And yeah, just basically giving everyone a better understanding of how the system works. So if you guys have any ideas like what you really want to see and there's enough interest, just send us an email saying that you want to learn more about this specific topic, and yeah, we can definitely arrange a training session. Okay, see there's which device is able to be connected by cell phone on app. So basically any smartphone. If it's going to be an older phone, it's not going to work. So it has to be a smartphone. But it doesn't have to be one of the newer models. As long as it's a smartphone, the app should work. Okay, can I suggest an installer for you in Windhoek, Namibia? Namibia security. Let's just quickly find them. I'm forgetting their name now quickly. Okay, why does the airtime not always show on the app? So if the device is a Cell Switch Infinity or it's a Cell Switch Nano, it's on the subscription, we load the airtime for you. So it's not going to show on your device list because you don't have to worry about the airtime. You don't basically have to know the airtime amount because the system will automatically top up the Cell Switch Infinity or the Cell Switch Nano. If, however, it's a second SIM card, is that for Intercom system or is it a Cell Switch Infinity? Okay, I see someone in chat already said maybe a security suppliers because that's the one, that's the distributor who sells the. Okay, so I see you're not sure it's a, so yeah, with the Cell Switch Infinity and the Nano, it won't show airtime because it's on subscription. If however it's a Intercom system and it's not showing the airtime, when you load new airtime, it can take up to 3 hours for it to reflect. Otherwise, if it's not showing any airtime at all, you can always contact our support line. We can just have a look and make sure everything's working fine. I've installed the Cell Switch to open the gate, but the only thing that I see that I need an ID. So if you do not have a South African ID, you can enter 13 zeros. That will also work. The ID is mostly for us for security reasons. So say you forget your password, you contact us, we will ask for the ID. So that's just one of the security steps. Are the units running on 3 or 4G? The units are currently, if you go look at a map of South Africa, you'll see that your 4G and your 3G is a very small area. It's mostly where your residential areas are. So a lot of the places are not covered with it. However, our units are working on 2G. 2G is most of South Africa is covered with 2G. We are, however, upgrading the cell switches and all our units to 4G, where it will be used 2G, if it 4G, and if it can't, it will go back to 2G. When you add a button in the web, the button will appear on the mobile app. Correct, yes. So as soon as you create a button on the portal and you save settings and update device, if you close your app and open it again, that new button will appear on the app and can be used. Okay, guys, any other questions? Okay, so this training session has been recorded. If you guys would like for us, you can just send us an email to support@accentronix.co.za and we can then send you that video through. So then you also will have the recording of this whole session. So yeah, just pop us an email and we can send it through to you. Okay, I see someone ask here, are we going to receive training certificates? Yes, so what you can do, you can also send us an email to support@Accentronix with your name and all your details, and then we can send you one through. Yes, we can make you one and then send it to you. Can you assist through TeamViewer or any desk? So the best option will be to send us either a WhatsApp or to contact our office, and then we can log on to our mission control where we basically can help you troubleshoot or basically solve any problem that you have. So the best option is, yeah, give us a call on our office or send us a WhatsApp to the helpline, and then we can work with it. Okay, guys, so I think, yeah, if you have any other questions, what we're going to do, we're going to type our WhatsApp helpline number inside chat, as well as our office number. So if you have any questions, anything that you want to know, you can just give us a call or send us a WhatsApp, and then we'll get back to you. So thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. Hope you have a lovely weekend. And yeah, hopefully we hear from you soon. Bye-bye.